welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your host, MagMongoSlade. Today we're going to be talking about Impact Wrestling from March the 3rd, 2022. They have an Impact event. I think it's an Impact Plus event, Sacrifice, that will actually be taking place on March the 5th, which is the same night as AEW Revolution. I guess we could say that partnership is finito because they're running literally head to head. So, at least I think they're running literally head to head. And of course, AEW is going to absolutely crush them, considering AEW's been building this up for months while Impact just threw some things together because they got to have a show on Sunday in order to keep those few people that they have on their site satisfied. So the only news and notes that I want to discuss today before we really get into the Impact is to talk about whether Ring of Honor being bought by Tony Khan. Not AEW, Tony Khan. Impact's story. In other words, for those of you who haven't been paying attention, most of you, if you're listening to this, you probably have been. They're not doing a Ring of Honor invasion story. They're doing basically Ring of Honor refugees showed up to the coast of Impact and decided they were going to pitch a tent and start living in Impact just cause. Now, it was never said, it was never really even suggested that Ring of Honor was still going to be around. In fact, this storyline almost assumes that Ring of Honor was not coming back. And that was sort of the entire reason that they had been cast out, is Ring of Honor is going under. Ring of Honor is gone. And so this story isn't really affected by Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor. I don't think any of these people are under contract by Ring of Honor, by the way. And because I think the day before Tony Khan announced that he was purchasing Ring of Honor, it was announced that a lot of the remaining contracts for Ring of Honor wrestlers was expiring. So does that mean that Matt Taven and Mike Bennett and all these guys don't have any contracts? It's entirely possible. It's hard to tell, because certain people have different deals, and then there was agreements to show up on Supercard of Honor, and Supercard of Honor is Gresham versus Bandito, but we don't even know if that'll actually occur now that Tony Khan has announced it. Maybe he'll do that anyway, and then start to build up towards whatever it is he wants to do. We don't know yet, but ultimately, I don't see how or why Ring of Honor being purchased affects Impact's story. They're not using any of Ring of Honor's logos or intellectual property or anything. Ring of Honor doesn't own anything that's involved in this story. Therefore, why should they be affected in any way? The only thing that they probably can do and probably should do is address that Ring of Honor has been purchased. And they could still say, for months we were out of business. We're not going back anyway. We're probably not going to be asked to come back. In any regard anyway. So we're moving on, so that'll be fine. I don't see it affecting it one way or the other. All right. So now let's talk about Impact Wrestling from March the 3rd. Eddie Edwards versus Steve Maclin. Steve Maclin wins the match by disqualification as Eddie Edwards beat him with a kendo stick in the middle of the match. Eddie Edwards is so incredibly boring. He's still boring. At that point, Team Impact came out there and they separated everybody as far as fighting and all that stuff. And Maria says that Team Impact is angry because they believed in pro wrestling, they believed in honor, just like Honor No More once did, and said they've been brainwashed, and that the first thing they need to learn is to question everything. He's got on the microphone and says that all the stuff that Maria is saying is delusional BS. To which Vincent got on the microphone and says that you thinking you're going to become the world champion is delusional. And I know a lot about delusional. I used to work with delusional people. So Heath challenged Vincent to a match. And then Heath wins that match with a Russian leg sweep, I believe it was. Or was it I believe it might have been like the pay dirt. Not pay dirt. That's Shelton Benjamin's finish. I think like the zigzag. It looks like a Russian leg sweep in any event. Vincent once again loses. Not a fan of that. Anyway, it was a big brawl afterwards. which I don't know more, of course. Kind of got on, it was a little on the losing end. Moose ran into the ring and tried to attack Heath during this scrum and missed and ended up getting visually pinned by Heath after he got hit with the Russian leg sweep or whatever. Are they trying to sell you seriously that Heath is a contender for the title? Come on, man. Come on. There's no way. Who in the world, who buys that? Nobody's buying this shit, man. He's come on. Nobody is that much down bad. I'm telling you, Impact, they need to get in there and really get pretty much everybody to touch on the Ring of Honor thing again. They need to collect as many of those people as they can, especially some of the young guys. They need to really go in there and get them because Impact needs talent. They need talent really bad. If you're giving Brian Myers and Heath title shots in order to fulfill some type of pay-per-view requirement for your Impact Plus subscribers or whatever, you need help. You're down bad. You're down bad in a real way. So, Masha Slamovich defeated Rachel Rose. Okay. I'm not really getting a lot out of this Masha Slamovich stuff. Mainly, the jobber matches is cool and all, but she has no personality. She looks weird, and that's nice, but I would like for her to talk, have a feud even. Okay. So GOD, Tama Tonga was pretty upset. Says that Jay White is a liar and that if this is business, this is the business that he brought Jay White into. And that he's threatened by us meaning GOD, and that he's threatened personally by me. So Tama Tonga really wants to do bad things to Jay White. Violent by Design, aka Eric Young, shows up and he says that he likes this energy and that he thinks that they're on the same side. GOD says, nope, we ain't on the same side. So then Violent by Design offered up a business arrangement. They wanted a tag team championship match, which they will be getting at Sacrifice, and says that if GOD helped them win, they will give them the first shot at the tag team championships. And that kind of takes us to the main event, which was the Bullet Club, which is the Good Brothers, Jay White, Chris Bay, and who else was it? I forget. Versus Violent by Design plus Guerrillas of Destiny. It was a gigantic brawl and it ended up as a no disqualification match that the Bullet Club won when Jay White used the Switchblade on Diener. It's like, okay, whatever. Just whatever, man. It was a nice attempt to try to make this match interesting, but it was very bleh. It was just bleh. And plus, once you see Diener is in it, he's taking the pin. It was, it was what it was. Okay, so Ace Austin approached Speedball Mike Bailey, saying that he wanted to be tag team champions with him. Mike Bailey decided to needle Madman Fulton by saying, oh, yes, I think that's a good idea. I know you two guys, Ace Austin and Madman Fulton, had tried to become the tag team champions before, and they didn't quite work out. And Fulton got pretty upset, and then Ace Austin kind of held him back and told him to calm down and to chill out. And I'm sitting here wondering what's the end game here. Besides a match between Ace Austin and Speedball Mike Bailey, what is the end game? What is Ace Austin hoping to get out of this partnership with Mike Bailey? Mike Bailey comes across as, this naive new kid on the block who now, he feels confident enough to take shots at Madman Fulton, but he didn't have anything. He's not like a champion or anything like that for Ace Austin to double cross or something like that. There seems to be no real reason for this to be occurring. I've been, on the Ace Austin train for like a year and a half now. They have done absolutely nothing with trying to elevate him in this company. And he should have been one of the guys even way, way, way back where they should have been doing something more with him. For some reason, they just refused. Now he's stuck with Speedball Mike Bailey, who has the absolute charisma and personality of a cardboard box. The fourth match, Madison Rayne was defeated by Cassie Lee. So Cassie Lee, this match was, it was not really good. The story of the match, of course, was that Jesse McKay, Tenio Dashwood, and Caleb with a K was outside the ring. Jesse McKay and Tenio Dashwood got into it, and Jesse, who was Billy Kay, ends up falling into the arms of Caleb, who, of course, they look at each other lovingly. He places her down. It's a distraction, and Madison Rayne gets beaten. It was what it was. Nothing major, nothing phenomenal. It was just kind of like teasing dissension and the influence, because they're going to be in the tag team championship match a little bit later. Mickie James and her Tic Tacs was on commentary. I mean, they were just all out, dog. I mean, the cameraman was just like right there. Like, if you thought that the NXT 2.0 thing was being pretty gratuitous with the tits out, Mickie James just said, fuck it, I'll show you how we've been doing this. We do tits out around here all the time, So, like, her joints was out, dog. And she was on commentary for Tasha Steelz versus Chelsea Green. And Tasha Steelz won the match. A little bit of help from Savannah Evans. Mickie James did not get involved. She was promised Chelsea Green that she would not. And so that kind of cost Chelsea the match. And I think this would actually be one of the maybe bullet points used for Chelsea Green's eventual heel turn. Yes, I was one of those people who do know that Chelsea Green was pitching ideas for her and Mickie James to feud in WWE. Of course, they didn't get it to happen. So they're going to get an opportunity either in NWA or in Impact. And it's looking like they're probably going to end up doing it in Impact, because they've been kind of tied to the hip for a while now. And it's always very weird for Chelsea to be a babyface and her husband to be a heel. That's very weird. Speaking of which, Matt Cardona was backstage really gloating about beating up on Jordan Grace. Nobody was really paying him too much attention. And he says that he is the digital media world champion. And if he doesn't start getting some respect, he may leave Impact and start going to defend the title elsewhere. And I was like, okay, please, take it and defend it somewhere else and forget about it. Leave it at a steakhouse like Jericho did with the AEW. Put it on the bathroom stall or something like that. It is just go wash your hands and forget about it. Fuck that belt. Match 6, Johnny Swinger was defeated by Jonah. It was a squash match, of course. PCO then hits the ring. Him and Jonah fight. Jonah splashed him with the tsunami from the top rope, but PCO decided to no-sell it, and that was interesting. They're trying to put over PCO. I'm still not that thrilled about this. Still not thrilled about it. Johnny Swinger is funny. I want to see more. I want to see Swinger's Dungeon. That's what I want to see. Like, we should be taking time out to do Swinger's Dungeon and not whatever the fuck Mike Bailey and Ace Austin is doing. Put them in Swinger's Dungeon if that's how we're going to do things. I want to see Swinger's Dungeon in the worst way. The final segment that we're going to discuss here is Deonna Purrazzo, who is having another champ challenge at Sacrifice. We don't know who her opponent is going to be. Giselle Shaw showed up to challenge Deonna. Deonna basically says that she's going to teach Giselle Shaw how they do things around there, because Giselle Shaw is new. Then Lady Frost shows up and informed Giselle Shaw they have a match on Sacrifice, and so Giselle Shaw will not be challenging for either of Deonna Purrazzo's titles. So I don't know who's going to be the opponent for Deonna Purrazzo. I think this thing's already been taped. I'm pretty positive the Impact Plus events are taped. I'm pretty sure about that. But I didn't look up the spoilers. I never look at spoilers. I hate spoilers. So here is the card for Sacrifice, just in case you're interested. I probably will do a review of it if I take time to watch it. It will feature Giselle Shaw versus Lady Frost. I don't see any reason why Giselle Shaw would lose. Rich Swann and Willie Mack versus Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. I don't see why Matt Taven and Mike Bennett would lose. Let's see, what's the next match? PCO versus Jonah. PCO, I know, is announced maybe as a long-term guy with Impact, but he's still almost 60 or something like that. I don't. Go ahead and put Jonah over. Let's just get it over with. Eddie Edwards versus Rhino. I don't care. Like, to be quite honest, if you could have this match at the bottom of a volcano and then seal the volcano with both of them still being inside, that would be the only way this match would be interesting to me, dog. I cannot stand either one of these two boring motherfuckers. You could smack the two of them like Three Stooges, like whop whop across both cheeks. I hate this match. I don't care who wins. Fuck this match. Switchblade Jay White versus Alex Shelley. Obviously Jay White's going to win. I think Alex Shelley is on his last legs in Impact. He probably won't be around much longer. At least I don't think so. I don't see. This ought to be fun though. Alex Shelley has not been on television in forever. I don't know when the last time he actually appeared on television for Impact. So he's just coming in essentially to do the job to Jay White. This is another, hey, this is a fun match, but it's not a good usage of Jay White. It's just not. This is the problem with the whole Forbidden Door stuff. Like, you can't put a title on the guy because you don't know how long he's going to be there. And you're just a secondary job. You know, his primary job is New Japan. And he's not even winning titles over there either. You know, he's just kind of existing as wandering main event guy. You know, well, theoretically wandering main event guy because, you know, he's been wandering for so long, people are going to start questioning whether he's still a main event guy. Jay White's going to win, but whatever. The Knockouts Tag Team Championship, the Inspiration versus the Influence. I don't see any reason why the Influence would win. Tenille Dashwood got to go on another vacation, doesn't she? I mean, look at all the sun she's not getting by actually wrestling. You know, she could definitely be getting a little bit more toasty. And the girl, beautiful girl. You know, beautiful girl. She's been hanging around in Impact for 3 or 4 years now. And the total amount of matches she had, you could fit on top of a thimble. She's just there and then not there. She must be independently wealthy from her WWE days, and she goes traveling and taking pictures. You know, so there you can't. How you put the fucking belts on her? You can't. Deonna Purrazzo champ challenge AAA Reina de Reinas and Ring of Honor Women's Championship versus to be announced. I think this is the one issue where you will have Tony Khan probably having a concern, is the Ring of Honor Women's title is on this show. Now, something tells me he probably is behind Deonna Purrazzo being the champion in the first place. Something tells me that. Is that, you know, is likely he's the reason Deonna Purrazzo is the champion in the first place. Now, I could see perhaps a woman from AEW coming into, maybe not this show, but maybe the next one, and they're doing a women's Forbidden Door. And whatever third tier woman is in AEW coming in there and defeating Deonna Purrazzo. That's if Tony Khan isn't the one behind Deonna Purrazzo winning the title in the first place, which it might be. You know, it might be. So that woman would likely be, I don't know, but Ty Conti or something like that. You know, because he cares. He loves Britt Baker. She already has a belt. He loves Jake Cargill. She already has a belt. He loves Thunder Rosa. Now, it could be her, or it could be Chris Statlander or somebody like that. Do I think it'll happen on this show, Sacrifice? Probably not. Do I think it will happen eventually? Yes. The Rebellion show is the next live show, I think. And Tony Khan, you know, snaps his fingers, and Deonna Purrazzo is either on her way to Ring of Honor to work that show, or she's going to lose the belt. And she could quite possibly lose the belt on the Ring of Honor first Supercard of Honor show. That could be the case too. Maybe she's going to carry it until then, until Tony Khan picks a woman for Deanna to put over. And that is, of course, unless Tony Khan is behind Deanna Purrazzo's push. We don't know. But she's not going to lose the title here, so it doesn't matter who her opponent is. X Division Championship, Trey Miguel versus Jake something. Trey Miguel has been a closet champion as far as the X Division title is concerned. I like both of these guys. This is the antithesis of Eddie Edwards versus Rhino. I want them both to win. Can they both win? Now, my love of jacked dudes says that I should want Jake something to win but the storyline isn't there. There just isn't a storyline strong enough for Jake to believably win the title. And then if he beats Trey Miguel looks like a chump for not being able to maintain the X Division belt and not being in a long-term feud with a guy over it. I would love for Jake to win, but I think Trey's going to win. Impact World Tag Team titles, rather. The Good Brothers versus Violent by Design. I definitely think the Good Brothers maintain these titles. I don't think Violent by Design needs them. Also, it's a very strange babyface turn for Violent by Design. I don't like it. This is a heel faction. They should have stayed heels. They're going to be edgy babyfaces, but I still don't like it. Good Brothers are going to win. Knockouts Championship, Mickie James versus Tasha Steelz. I don't see any reason why Tasha Steelz should win this match. Makes no sense. I think Mickey's probably going to end up being a champ of her own. And I think eventually she'll be the NWA Women's Champion. I don't see why they haven't done it yet. I mean, Camille is cool and all, but Camille as champion has kind of really, I don't want to say diminished the NWA belt, but what I'm saying is it's not as visible as it once was, you know. And I think it basically has a lot to do with Camille's weaknesses. She's a decent wrestler. I'm about to say good wrestler. She's a decent wrestler. You have to work her style though, and she's not a great personality by any means. In fact, Camille was much better when she didn't talk than she is now. But she's great to look at. She's very statuesque, and if you could actually get her to develop some type of personality, she might have something as far as her size and stature and everything is concerned. I definitely think they need to go ahead and put the belt on Mickie and let Mickie hold both women's titles at the same time. Since she's going to jump back and forth between NWA and Impact anyway, she might as well be champ. Might as well be. And the Impact World title, which sounds like the kickoff show, Moose versus Heath. Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. Impact is struggling. Mickie James is clearly the biggest star on the goddamn brand. And there's only so much she can do. You know, she for starters, she's a woman, so they're already in the hole. The last time they had a woman be the front of the promotion, she walked out on them. That being Tessa Blanchard. I don't think Mickie would do that, but Mickie has dual loyalties because she does the thing with the NWA as well. But I think with her status, she's far more trustworthy, and she's doing the best storylines on the show. The only problem is that they're so involved with Ring of Honor and so many other things that it's difficult for people to, you know, really invest in Impact. Impact just seems to be the nexus of whatever forbidden crap forbidden door, windows, whatever the fuck they're talking about. It somehow, in some way, affects Impact. You know, and snatching what Deanna is still going to have a belt if she loses the Ring of Honor women's title, but she'll have the AAA women's belt. She's going to end up having to lose that too. And I think that's definitely going to be Taya. It's going to take that belt, and it's probably going to be somewhere in Mexico. So it ought to be. Will it be a fun show? I'm not really looking forward to it. If we're saying it's not a well-built card, it's shit. But I do want to see Trey Miguel versus Jake something, and I'm always up to watch Mickie wrestle, and Jay White versus Alex Shelley sound like it'll be fun. But the rest of this stuff, I could take it or leave it. If we're just being honest, I don't really care, you know. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Skin tone, so why attach yourself yourself, I'm telling you, to own up to your own success and failures. It's a reason why these sleep